to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
It's not live. And ladies and gentlemen, it is live. Go look. Give it a sec. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are streaming on all social media platforms, including YouTube at Keys to the City. We got brand new hoodies, like I said. First order is out, and they should be getting in by sometimes this week for the people that order. So stay tuned. We will have those hoodies ASAP. If you want new ones, let us know. Message us, text us, get a hold of us, if whatever you can, to get a brand new pair of Keys to the City merchandise. So let's bring in Joseph Aguirre. We'll get into our baseball at the end of the show. Make a quick prediction. Is there going to be a new World Series champ tonight? Or are we having a Game 7? Two of our favorite words as all sport fans. Waiting for Game 7. I'm hoping for Game 7 just because it's Game 7 for a right to win a championship game. We saw Game 7 last year, and we'll get into it in a little while. Well, let's start off with the NFL. An interesting week, a week that we got to see the top teams really separate themselves from the middle of the pack. This year has shown that there's bad teams, there's good teams, and then there's teams that seem like they have a great record-wise, but they're in the middle of the pack, like a team like last night, the Bears. We all knew that was going to happen because the Bears are an overrated team. And for anybody that thinks they were a good team, I'm sorry. Your dreams came falsely crashing down real quick. And then Joe's team, yeah. So, okay, what does that mean? Doesn't matter. Play them again, please. The Bears are a bad team, Jace. And if you think the Bears are a good team, please just stick to watching the Giant football, man, because they're not a good team. Nick Foles sucks. He's been bad for years. He's a good backup. There's a reason why he's called a backup. That's why. And then Joe's team, I got to give Joe some crap too, because another team that he was very high on and a quarterback that was very high on, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. I know they're 5-2. I know they're the leaders of the AFC East right now. But when you play the team that hasn't scored 100 points in 7 weeks, is the worst team in the NFL by far, and you only win by 8 points, and 4 total yards of offense by the New York Jets in the second half, you're on and you haven't looked good in the past 3 weeks, that's an overrated team. Don't care. They're going to get into the playoffs probably because that division, the Eastern Conference of the AFC East and the NFC East, they're just there. All 8 of those teams are just there. There's not going to be no impact with those 8 teams. Let's move on. We'll talk about one of those AFC teams in an interesting
The biggest thing, and you mentioned the 2 teams, the Bills and the Bears, because those are 2 teams that I think a lot of people had high hopes and had good records.
I never have high hopes for those.
Yes, the Bears beat the Tampa Bay, but that was on a short week, and Tampa Bay was also dealing with multiple injuries that week. The biggest thing I noticed with those 2 teams is they both can't run the football. They both don't have any type of running game whatsoever. The Bears cannot run the football.
The 31st in the league.
We thought the kid Montgomery coming out of college was going to be a big step up for them, and they would be able to run the football. They can't run the football. No. And Nick Foles is not good enough to throw the football down the field because they have no weapon. I'm sorry, Jimmy Graham was good 10 years ago. Allen Robinson is a great number 1 receiver. He's a good piece, but they don't have a number 2.
We have to wait for another team that's 5-2 right now that's still up in the air. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Big win on Sunday night, by the way. Don't know what to make of them.
Well, here's the thing. They could score, Trev. And what Joe was saying before the show, if you could score 30, 40 points, your defense doesn't have to be great. Sorry, this is not early 2000s, 1990. You're not going to win football games 10-6 anymore. It doesn't matter. As good as the Steelers' defense is, they still, when they were up by 3 touchdowns, gave up 27 points to the Titans and should have had the game tied or 24 and it should have went to overtime. If Gostkowski doesn't make that kick, the game goes to overtime. Tennessee has all the momentum and probably wins that game. So you're not talking about the Steelers undefeated. You're not talking about their great defense. You're going to say Ben Roethlisberger threw 3 picks. They gave up 27 points. Even though they shut down Derrick Henry, they still gave up points. Okay, the game has evolved into scoring. The Chiefs last year, we realize this. You don't know how to have a great defense. You need to be good in the red zone. You need to be good on third down defensive efficiency, be able to stop teams, take them off the field, and you need to be able to score points. If you put up 25 to 30 points a game, you're going to put so much pressure on the other team to score. It makes your defense that much better. And like the Chiefs did, you got Clark on the outside, you got pass rushers. You can be able to put pressure because you know, hey, they're going to throw the ball because they're down 10. You make them predictable.
That's why I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch of this one in the AFC Championship game.
No,
absolutely.
I would definitely be up for that game. I mean, that was a great game. That was everything I expected it to be. 2 5-0 teams. Job well done. Give me another 60 minutes of that.
I like that the Titans were able to fight to the end.
Give me another 60 minutes of that in the next couple months.
And then how about this week? You got the Steelers-Ravens this Sunday. That's going to be a huge game. That'll really, for me, I think Trevor's got the Steelers at number 1, the best defense, the best team in football. I really want to see how they do against this Ravens team.
I mean, we'll get into that because it's only Tuesday. We still got another show for all the people that watch us. We still have another show. So Ted, we're not doing 2 shows in one. Okay?
I know, but I get a little excited because this is always a classic game every year.
We're not going to talk about it right now, so we got to wait, Joe. We got to put that away. That's.
It is exciting though. I can't wait to talk about it.
Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it's a bloodbath.
Well, just like the Seattle 49ers game is this Sunday night at 4:00, and that's another huge rivalry.
I wanted to get into the NFC East and the AFC East, so I wanted to talk about it. Well, I want to because there's something stirring more than just bad play on the field from the Dallas Cowboys. We know that the NFC East is god-awful. It's an atrocity. It's an embarrassment to be a part of this division right now just because there's not one team with 3 wins in this division. The first time in NFL history, a team that has not won 3 games in a division in the first 7 weeks. Well, that's been done this year. Add on to the crazy year as it has been. So the Dallas Cowboys, yeah, they lose. They're terrible. Their defense is god-awful. The thing that ticks me off is the way everything went down on Sunday afternoon. Their quarterback at the time, Andy Dalton, took a vicious shot from your boy Jonathan Bostic right there, as you can see.
My boy.
Yeah, from Florida.
It's not my boy.
That's your boy.
And
Joe, I want you to show the other pic, too, of the Washington Redskins and them all circling around Andy Dalton when he was on the ground. You could see that hit. The thing that ticks me off right here. Look at Kendall Fuller. Right there. And then the Dallas Cowboys teammates are standing there like, is he all right? Here's the thing that ticks me off. They're bad. We know that the Dallas Cowboys, they always have issues because it's the Dallas Cowboys. My thing is, and I'm a football guy. This is not coming from just a football fan. This is a guy that played the game all his life. He knows what the game is about. Anytime you see a teammate, especially your quarterback, I don't give a hoot who it is. I don't care. That's your teammate. You see him take a shot like that, a vicious shot in which a league that is trying to stop or slow down the NIT East, my God. The thing that they're trying to slow this down, minimize all those vicious hits. Where are your teammates? Where's the offensive line? Where's somebody coming off the sidelines to go take them out? My thing is, we just saw this a year ago in a big AFC showdown or AFC North showdown that turned out very ugly. And it was the Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph incident. And Maurice Pouncey, he got a suspension from it. But what he did was he backed his quarterback up. He saw his quarterback taking a shot from Myles Garrett. And what would he get? What was his comment after when he got that suspension? It was worth it. This is bigger than just a bad defense. This is bigger than just the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones running his mouth as usual. There is a massive leadership issue going on in Dallas, and this is why, and I will say this, that they are the worst team in the NFC East because of this factor. They might have the most talent, but leadership always triumphs with the talent. I don't care. You need to have leadership to win championships in this league, to be respected in this league. The Dallas Cowboys are not respected in this league. They're laughed at. And it's because of situations like this, and with the way their coaching staff is and how players are pointing the fingers, it's a laughingstock. I know the Giants stink. I know the Washington football team stinks. I know the Eagles stink. But the Dallas Cowboys are an embarrassment because they don't even know how to pick their own team up when this guy's injured or help him up or go after him, back your brotherhood up. Instead, it's just pointing the finger. You guys want to chime in? Any one of you? Ted's looking down. Ted's lost in the world. What are you on, Ted? What are you doing, Ted?
I'm sharing,
Joe, come on.
Please.
Yeah, look, here's
the Dallas Cowboys would have reflected a little bit better after watching Dak Prescott go down 2 weeks ago.
No, Joe's got the shot. No, Joe's
well, no, you know what? I mean, look, here's my thing. I thought Andy Dalton could step in there and throw the football around, and the Dallas Cowboys have seemingly quit. It's hard to say that they're the worst team in the NFL because they did beat the Giants. The NFC, you know what I mean. It doesn't matter. The Giants still couldn't beat this team, even without Dak. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's it's hard to attack Dallas and say, Dallas is awful when the Giants couldn't get past this team. The Giants couldn't beat the Eagles. Washington
was embarrassing. The way you lose. I mean, what was it? 22-3, 25-3. I mean,
25-3.
Andy Dalton was getting killed in the game. If you watch some of the game, he was screaming at his offensive lineman for some type of help and protection, was not getting it whatsoever. You look at this team. It's not like this is the New York Jets or the Oakland Raiders or teams where there's no talent. This team is loaded with talent. There is no leadership, and it starts from upper management, from Jerry Jones to his son Stephen Jones to Mike McCarthy. I watched Monday Night Football last night, and even Steve Young and a bunch of the guys said the guys don't want to play for Mike McCarthy. And you could be like, well, the guys should play anyways. No. Will
Mike McCarthy be fired?
I've seen this before.
By the end of this year?
If you don't have a relative relationship with your head coach, you just lose focus. And when the biggest importance to you is the name on your check at the end of the week and not the name on the back of your jersey or the helmet logo, that is the problem. These guys, if it's making $50 million a game or $600,000 a year, their thing is only worrying about themselves. You could see it. It's an individuality. There is no leadership. There's no team camaraderie. You would have thought after Dak saying, hey, listen, you know what? We got to come together, right? We got to save this season. We got to work together. They have not played well the last couple of weeks. They've gotten worse, not better. They've gotten worse, okay? You would have thought, all right, Washington, they should win this game, right? Most teams, it was a pick 'em. Most teams, guys would have said pick Dallas. So it was an embarrassing loss all ways around. And then when you add this in, the Andy Dalton hit, and not one for one guy. I mean, even Booger said last night, Darren Orlowski called them losers, pathetic. Stephen A. Smith goes,
they are losers.
Stephen A. Smith goes,
losers.
Usually I like to make fun of them. He goes, I don't even want to make fun of them. It's actually pathetic. Like I don't even have words to describe them, how bad they are. It's sad. And it's embarrassing. And Joe, it's funny for me as a Giant fan to see this because, you hear every year, Dallas. They have all the time. Yeah, you have a much better team than the Giants. But at least I know every week that my Giants team, even though when they lose, they go in and they play hard for Joe Judge. This team does not play hard for Mike McCarthy. They don't play hard on defense. The best effort I've seen all weekend was DK Metcalf chasing a guy. I haven't seen the Dallas Cowboy guys do that. And if you think about it, they were down, 30-some points to Atlanta. Should have not won that game. If the Giants don't make two big mistakes on the fake field goal for the touchdown and the other offensive pass interference where they call it and the guy just runs his route, the Giants beat Dallas. The Dallas team should have no wins. That's realistically where they are at. They are a winless team right now. They have 2 fool's gold wins right now on their record.
And I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it's Dak Prescott.
I heard that Matt Ryan. I did hear the Matt Ryan.
I don't care who the
Ian Fitzpatrick, Joe.
I don't care who the quarterback is. If it's Dak Prescott or Andy Dalton, it's still your quarterback. He's still on your team. You go back him up. You go take care of that.
Absolutely.
You go take care of that. And for them to just stand around, not even go after the guy. I'm not saying literally take his helmet off and beat his brains in, but literally to not even go after the guy. It just shows the signs of the Dallas Cowboy franchise right now. They don't like their coach. It's a big mistake from Jerry Jones and this team, and they got to live with it. I don't know if he's going to make it in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fired before Adam Gase. How Adam Gase still has a job is fascinating. How Adam Gase is. I mean, Ted showed me a poll. How about this? Ted showed me a poll last year.
It was a memory, Joe.
You can still post polls on Facebook. Which coach would be gone first, Shermer or Gase? Gase was the winner. Adam Gase is still the head coach of the New York Jets.
That's insane.
So, I mean, just looking at right now with Mike McCarthy and this team and the direction they're going for, they got to figure something out because this defense, I mean, the way this team is playing, this division is still up for grabs, which is
now Dallas. Remember how Dallas plays Philly this week.
Dallas, it's a big Sunday night game. You know what? I put all my money on the Eagles. There's no way down. I'm sorry.
Because if that was Carson Wentz or the backup or any of the other,
it doesn't matter who it is. Anytime you see one of your teammates go down like that, a dirty type of hit, and especially a game that's trying to stop from doing that, and you don't do anything.
That's a great take.
As a football player, and what happens to a franchise? Yes, all you care about is money, Jared. All you care about is that money, and that's it. And as you can see with all the big contracts they give into, all the selfish players that are on the team, and that's it. They got their money and they ran home with it. And you're seeing it right now, right in front of your face. It's just they have bigger issues. Mike McCarthy, they got to figure his situation out because right now, whoa, The Dallas Cowboys are in a heap of trouble. Now, Joe, before we move on to the next subject, I will tell you this, and I don't know if people have heard. Jerry Jones every Monday or Tuesday goes on the 105.3 Dallas radio. He does like a weekly interview with the Dallas radio.
We should get him on.
So they asked him, when you walk in the locker room, do you see a lack of leadership? And the guy started talking. And then he interrupted. Jerry goes, "Why don't you shut up and let me answer?" He goes, and I was like, "All right." And he goes, "When I walk in that locker room, I don't see a lack of leadership whatsoever of that team." And I'm thinking,
he's delusional.
You're being naive, delusional on that.
Yeah. What did you say?
I forgot.
Who's the singer?
Oh, he goes,
even Stevie Wonder could see that there's a massive issue in this locker room. No, that's just
I love when owners and GMs do this. When like the obvious thing is right there and they're like, everything's fine. We're gonna go back. We're gonna look at some tape. We're a couple plays away. And you're like, you're insane. A couple plays, like you guys are awful. Here's the other thing about Dallas, and I don't want to defend him at all, but I feel like I need to a tiny bit. I think there's got to be a lot of resentment amongst these players at the fact that Dak didn't get paid and that there's a possibility that Dak may never get paid. And I know everybody's like, oh, pay him now. How do you know he's going to be fine when he comes back?
Do you think they're sticking?
We don't know that.
You think they're
we don't know that.
Is that what you're suggesting? That they could be like, you know what? You don't want to sign Dak and what he's meant to the franchise. You know what? Yeah, but how does that do for that? What is even more selfish? That's even more if you think about it. Because
hold on, you lost. You scored 3 points against Washington, and literally, as you're pointing out, there was no dog in the fight for those guys last night. Not last night on Sunday. They didn't care. They don't care. They're going through the motions. If you look at their schedule, they've got 2 winnable games. The Giants and their rematches with both the Giants and the Washington football team. Otherwise, they're probably losing the other 7 games. It's bad news in Dallas.
Again, so 4-12.
But look, Jerry Jones just hands out contracts to everybody over there. But the one guy all of his teammates believed in, they were like, let's wait and see. The guy goes out there, puts up historic numbers with a garbage defense, then gets hurt. I don't know, man. I think this might be kind of the opposite of what everyone else is seeing. I'm seeing a Dallas team that's basically like, hey, Jerry, all set, bud.
Yeah,
that's what I see here. I see something different.
You might be right, Joe, but that looks just so much worse. Just listening to that. Like, you think about that. They're going to stick it to the owner because of not giving a contract, and you have another 9 weeks left, and you're still in the running for a division title, and you're just going to give up? What does that say as a what kind of player are you? Like, everyone. That goes from Zeke all the way down to your worst player.
Would you agree? Would you agree that the most dysfunctional franchise in sports, even when they're doing well, is the Dallas Cowboys?
New York Knicks.
Even when they're doing well.
Jets. That's why he said even when the Knicks haven't been well in a while.
I was also going to say the
There you go. That's the caveat I throw in to protect myself on that. Even when the Cowboys are doing well, it's like it's still a disaster.
It's a circus.
And you're never really sure who's in charge. I'll tell you what, honestly, if there's one job I would never want, it would be coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Because I think no matter what they tell you your power is, what you're able to do, where you stand, and who your boss is, I think that changes on a whim there.
Well, let's see what happened when they
and that's a problem.
When they gave coaches that were different. Well, here's instead of the yes man. Well, here's Parcells, Jimmy, and then even Landry. And all those guys got fired because they were the ones that had the power. They wanted full control, and we know how Jerry is. It's kind of – we can relate this to the New York Yankees. The Yankees don't like that hard ass.
They don't like the Billy.
No. You can't relate. It's not even close to the same. It's a different thing.
How is it not even close?
Because it's all of a sudden.
You're gonna make
Joe
me lose
Torre was running the show.
Okay.
Joe Girardi was running the show.
And that's why he got fired.
No, that's not the reason why he got fired.
Okay, you got it.
Go on, Ted.
Continue your point.
They sided players over the
Go ahead.
coaching.
That's why they have a yes man right now. That's why he's not going to lose his job.
I don't think he's a yes man. I just think he's putting a tough predicament, Aaron Boone, and I'm talking about between.
He says one thing and then goes back on what he said.
No, I don't.
You got to hear him out of the show.
Here's the thing. Dallas only interviewed.
I'm calling him out right now.
Dallas only interviewed 2 coaches. They hired interviewed Marvin Lewis and McCarthy, and they only did Marvin Lewis because
the Rooney Rule.
Because they need to do.
You have to.
Somebody who's not white.
You have to.
All right,
it's part of the rule.
They didn't really do their due diligence.
No.
They just did. Hey, Marvin Lewis, come in for yeah. Okay, see you later.
Mike McCarthy, let's get him.
You need someone new and innovative, someone who's strong-minded. They didn't interview Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City. They didn't interview Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. They didn't interview any of these other guys that were much more talented, because you saw what Mike McCarthy was at the end of his career in Green Bay, and that's not the Dallas Cowboys. That's a ownership run by the fans and an Aaron Rodgers organization, and usually they are a smooth sailing organization with no circus act.
Am I crazy to say what I said about the whole Yankees thing too? Like the Yankees, like a manager that's
recently though. It's never was that way. Never in the Yankee history.
All right. Let's break this down. Let's talk this out for a minute. Joe Torre gets hired in '96. Yeah. And slowly from 96 till about 2002, he sort of wrestles away the Yankees from the Steinbrenners. Joe Torre's the face of the Yankees.
He was.
And they hated it. They hated every minute of it.
But they were winning and they accepted it. They won and they accepted it.
Bammo. You get to 2002 until you get to Girardi. They weren't winning World Series anymore. They only went to one other World Series with Joe Torre. Lost to the Marlins. So there you go. Bye. That was performance related. They let him be the face of the team and he blew it.
Thank you.
Joe Girardi's problem was.
Backing my point up. No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I am. I'm backing both of you up. Pay attention and see where this benefits both of you. Joe Girardi got fired from the Marlins for the same reason he got fired from the Yankees and for the same reason he'll eventually get fired by the Phillies. He's a douchebag. They don't like him. People don't like being around Joe Girardi. You either love Joe Girardi until you stop liking him, and then you want to move on. I don't think Aaron Boone is necessarily a yes man, but Aaron Boone's vision for what the Yankees are, what the it just happened to align with what they were looking for.
Did you say the same thing about Dallas with Jerry Jones and McCarthy? Because he saw he had one Super Bowl. I mean, he started struggling at the end of his tenure with Green Bay. And then, is it just because of the name?
Mike McCarthy.
It was the name. Yes,
it was just a pure.
It was
name.
Exactly the name. That's the only thing it was. Mike McCarthy. That's a sexy hire. That's a big name coach right there. That's a name that should get instant respect in my locker room. Instead, maybe look around at your offense, which is all young African Americans. You don't think they would love Eric Bieniemy to have been their head coach, an innovative offensive mind who really could have tapped into Dak and really did some things with Dak? So my point here is, listen, here's my point about the Dallas Cowboys. You're in a position where, like I said, your star quarterback seemed to basically have to go into COVID 2019, right, and prove it to Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything about your crappy defense, but you just thought Dak was going to go run the show in 2020. That's what you thought was going to happen. He gets hurt after a historic run of games to open up the season.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me there's not resentment from the guys on this football team.
I said it's an interesting point. It just
look. These guys take this stuff really personal. Look at Dellin. Everybody knew Dellin Betances was leaving the Yankees because what happened like 3 years ago in arbitration.
The whole arbitration.
When they in an arbitration hearing, they were like, "Well, he's not that good," and he could never let it go. He could never get over the fact that they would argue that in a hearing for public consumption. That broke the guy's heart. These are human beings. You see all these contracts Jones is just throwing out. For what? To who? You did have a leader on this football team.
You paid everyone else but the quarterback. And in a league where you pay no one and you pay the quarterback first. Like, we watch all the shows, Joe. We're like, all we do is watch sports in the Food Network. Everybody said, in about a year or two, the Chargers, you go sign Justin Herbert now. That's what you do. You sign these guys when you know you got them and you're the young guy. You go sign Kyler Murray in about a year. You don't wait for his 5th year. You sign him now while you still got him. That's what the Rams did. That's what the Eagles thought they did when they signed Carson Wentz. They're like, that is my guy. That's the MVP. That guy is the real deal.
For Dallas too.
For him, he pays the linemen, the running back, the linebackers. Think about that. And you don't sign the most important position in all sports. The quarterback on a football team is the most important position in any sport. Name any sport, that's the most important position, and you decided not to pay him. Now, it wasn't like they didn't offer him good money. It just wasn't good enough for Dak. Now, maybe that's a little bit on Dak for not taking it. Hey, whatever it is, he's hurt, and that's it. And he doesn't have a contract after the season.
There's a bigger – the first thing about Dallas, and then before I get into my next point, is – it's not just the defense. This is bigger than the defense. This is bigger than –
see Jared's new comment?
No, what was it?
Joe, you see that new comment? It's like the owner of the restaurant getting the ingredients from the consumer and asking the chef to create the dish they ordered. That's great. That's great. You're on fire today, bro.
Yeah, JJ's on fire right now. My thing is what I was going to say is there's bigger than the defense. Everybody needs an identity. There's no identity with this. There's no Dallas Cowboys. There's no leadership. And for the Dallas Cowboys, if they ever want to get back to having some sort of respect around the league, they better find some freaking leadership sooner or later. Because if not, it's going to be a long 8 games. And Mike McCarthy's era, and I love what Doug Gottlieb said, error. He didn't say ERA. He said ERROR because it was an error on Jerry Jones. They better get their stuff together because if not, it's going to be another long season for Dallas fans, and they're going to be having to go to the drawing boards. All starts with an identity. All starts with leadership, and the Dallas Cowboys couldn't be farthest from the truth or far from that.
The teams that are bad don't have an identity. Just go look around the league. Jets don't have an identity. The Giants don't have an identity yet.
Speaking of identity, let's get into another team that's shockingly has been in some rare waters right now, dealing with a situation that they haven't been in the past 20 years, and that's the New England Patriots. Remember when they were 2-1 and everybody was like, "Oh, Cam Newton, could look like he could be the MVP." I think Joe said that as well, maybe.
No, that was just a bold prediction that Cam.
Yeah, that's why Joe's laughing because he's like,
"Yeah, that was a bold prediction that I made." Calm down. Stop trying to pin this on me.
No, I'm going to make you look like a bad guy right now because Ted made a good bold prediction, and you couldn't be farthest from the truth on your bold prediction.
I looked good week 1, though, didn't I? Everybody was like, "Oh, Joe, you're onto something there," and I was like, "Well, and not for nothing. This isn't an excuse. He did have COVID."
No, we will get into – no, I wanted to talk about that because of the whole factor of if that's still playing a part for him because
I think so.
You saw the Jacksonville running back can't play for the entire year because of COVID reasons. The kid Armstead can't play at all. Jacksonville, I just said it. Can't play for the entire year because of COVID. Got COVID restricted. Just couldn't do it. Can't breathe. My thing is
I wasn't aware of that, sorry.
No, it's fine. My thing is
it just happened like yesterday.
This is uncharted territory for the Patriots organization and even Pat fans because for the past 20 years they've been at the top of the game. They haven't lost 3 straight. They've been the alpha of alphas in the NFL. They've been the premier top dog. So for them to be 2-4 right now, there's a lot of issues going on. Now, what's their identity? We just talked about Dallas not having just an identity or lack of leadership. Well, what's the Patriots' identity? I know they got Belichick. I know they got Foxborough. They got the defense that's been playing up and down. But what is their identity on offense? You have Cam Newton, a whole different type of quarterback that we've never seen with the New England Patriots offense. With Josh McDaniels, looks like it could be a match made in heaven. Is it the lack of weapons? Is it just Cam being Cam and who we think Cam is as a quarterback, which is good at times, but still middle of the pack
like that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out because the other night
I think it's very simple.
I expected them to be a more competitive game against the San Francisco 49ers team who hasn't made me go like, whoa. Like they won 33-6 in Foxborough. I know there's no fans and anything, but still, there's a reason why Bill Belichick has never lost a game as that bad as the other night.
That was the worst loss in the Belichick era.
So what is the reason? The lack of weapons, Cam struggling mightily. Is it COVID? Is it the impact on Cam with COVID, not him being 100%?
Listen, going into the season, this is what we expected the Patriots to be.
I expected this to be a better team.
No, we did not.
I did.
We expected this to be a bad team.
I expected them to win the division in 7. I did.
Wait, timeout. Hold up, timeout. Are you saying Cam, the Patriot, you expected the Patriots this year when you knew Cam was the quarterback, or before that? Because before that, I don't think anybody thought they were. Either one of you can answer.
No, I thought, Joe, I did not expect them to make the playoffs. I thought they would be 8-8 at best. I thought the
Bills Cam.
I thought the Bills were going to win the division with a 9-7 record, maybe 10-6. All right, and my bold prediction was 2 after week 6 when the Dolphins would be 3-3, would maybe sneak them in as a wild card playoff team. Well, that's still to be determined. At the end of the day, Brady's laughing because he knew this was going to happen. We wonder why Brady was struggled the last 2 years. Just look at the pitcher. They have no weapons. This is no different than the Bears you watched last night.
Julian Edelman's like a shell of himself.
Julian Edelman is taking a beating the last 10 years. He's played his balls off, but he's not the same guy, and he's 5'9" and 185 pounds. He's the size of I am. All right? He's not your number one receiver. He's a slot guy. They have no tight. This was a team that had tight ends. Remember, 2-3 tight ends. Ben Watson, Gronk, Hernandez. I mean, every year they had tight ends they would come to. They have no tight end. Who's their tight end? No one knows. Who's their number one receiver? You don't know. Edelman's not a number one. You can say it because you know his name. That's not a. They drafted a receiver last year. He's not that good. I'm sorry. Go back in the Belichick history. He has not drafted offensive players well. The only player he's drafted that's made a Pro Bowl was Gronk. That's it. That's the only person he's drafted in the era on offense that's made a Pro Bowl. Go look it up.
Hernandez never made it? Aaron Hernandez never made one?
Really? Yeah, it was something. It was weird because remember he was talking. He has not drafted well offensive talent-wise.
Joe, what do you think?
Okay, this team was good. The way they were winning was run the ball with Cam Newton all the time. They have all these injuries.
Yeah, I know.
Their defense is not as good. Remember Colin said and they had all the guys that were out for COVID. They're kind of tanking. They have so much draft capital next year. They'll probably hold on to Cam, if not let him go. They'll probably go get one of the big-time quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft. They'll make moves. But Mr. Henderson, Eddie Henderson, said on one of the comments, it just shows as great as you are as a coach, you still need players around you. You could be the greatest coach in the world. You need players. Yep. Sorry, but Phil Jackson was not going to win a championship without Michael Jordan. Okay? Pat Riley wasn't going to win it without Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You need talent. You need players. Players win you the games. Coaches keep everything and put it together. They put the puzzle together. You have all these pieces. Coaches keep together.
Everything in place.
Okay? He had Brady. But look at Brady. You think Brady would be doing great if he was in New England? Absolutely not. But because he's in Tampa, look what Tampa's doing. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk. They had Cameron Brate, Ronald Jones. They go get Leonard Fournette. You're putting as many puzzle pieces together to create the perfect.
Well, it just shows the power that Tom Brady has also too.
But that's what I'm saying.
I mean, Brady is the most powerful man.
What I'm more disappointed in the Patriots is the lackluster effort that I saw on Sunday night to watch San Francisco run up and down the field against them and dominate them on the defensive side of the ball was very impressive for San Francisco.
Yeah. So, Trevor, to answer your question, yes to all of those things. I think there's so many factors against the Patriots right now that despite the decent start where it raised expectations, I think you're right, Teddy. I think this team's going to be about where we thought they were going to be. And I think when you trade the greatest quarterback in NFL history, how could anybody, even with somebody like a Cam Newton coming in next, how could anybody even reasonably think there wouldn't be a humongous step back? And don't think that Bill Belichick didn't think that either. He seems pretty cool about things despite where we're at. He pulled Cam, and then I think before they even left the field, told Cam, don't sweat it, you're my quarterback next week too.
And
So-
9 guys out for COVID.
Yeah,
9
COVID
guys
too,
out.
a
Are
lot of-
their best linebacker, their safety, Patrick Chung. I mean, they have decimated with injuries. They have no talent on the defense. They have no weapons offensively. Who's their star running back? They have 5 guys that touch the ball 3 different times a game. They have no number one receiver. They don't have a tight end, and their
Well, the
offensive
leading
line is
rusher
shitty.
is Cam.
But again, I get the sense. Look, if Belichick had a problem with that, he would have done something about it.
Go ahead, go check if you want to go check. I'll me and Joe will talk. Something happened. We just heard a big boom, so we gotta see. Hopefully the house didn't. Something happened to the house. Let me know, Tad. Anyways, my thing is see, we get interruptions all the time. It's amazing because of the factor that you see last year. This offense was bad too, but Brady managed to make it an 11. They were a 12-win team last year with the same weapons. Is that big of a despair from Brady to Cam? Is like Cam really that bad? Like Cam was also inaccurate. Watch his throws. He's inaccurate. He couldn't make a 5-yard out throw.
Like this team was a 12-4 team last year, and
He's not a good quarterback. He's
It's
a great
just
athlete.
show. I mean, they're going to be in the running for a quarterback. You just look at all these teams right now. Add this team to the list: the Minnesota Vikings, the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Atlanta, the Jets,
Giants.
the Giants are still too. But who knows about the Giants? Because it's the Giants, and you know how they think. They think differently than all of us. But there's a lot of questions going around these 2 teams, the Dallas Cowboys and New England Patriots, 2 of the most popular yet most hated teams in the NFL. You want to know how embarrassing the Dallas Cowboys are? Did you see their defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan, was having a press conference and he got hot sauce in his eye? He started rubbing it. Like, come on. Like, if you're talking about an embarrassment, a laughing stock right now, I know the Jets are, but the Dallas Cowboys, for other reasons, are the laughing stock. It's just shocking, this NFL season. Brady's dominating. He looks amazing. That team looks
nice.
That team looks very scary.
It's nice when you have more weapons, just like LeBron James getting his second star and Anthony Davis. Look how much better LeBron looks. I'm sorry, but Trev, it's realistic.
I know.
Look at all the guys that have good offensive talented teams. There's talent surrounded about all these guys. You got to put talent around these guys. If not, you're going to falter. I'm sorry, but Mahomes is great because of all the talent around him. I'm not saying Mahomes wouldn't be great if he was in New England, but having Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Hoyer and they added Le'Veon Bell and McCall Hardman, and then you have one of the best offensive minds in Andy Reid. Think about the talent he has. That's what makes him great.
I was just gonna say, just let me finish my point. But
Cam Newton's not a good quarterback either. He's never been accurate. I'm surprised you haven't crush Cam because you've always talked about how
he's not a good quarterback. I know that, but
I used to argue with Pat all the time about that.
Well, because I don't need to argue with him anymore because it's just showing how he's not a good quarterback. I just saw that with his type of dynamic skill set, with Josh McDaniels, a creative mind as he is, I thought it could have been something totally different. And you saw in the first game against the Dolphins, I know it's the Dolphins, but still, it looked like something different that we've never seen from the Patriots. And we thought, okay, this team's going to be tougher than we think. And then they go into that game week 2 against Seattle, that Sunday night classic, and they came down to the 1-yard line. And you thought all signs point to, wow, this Patriot team is legit. Cam is legit. This is going to be
Seattle's defense is that bad.
This is going to be a fun Patriot team to watch because of the way that Cam's dynamic skill set is and Josh McDaniels with Belichick. And we couldn't be, more wrong on it because of the fact that their offense stinks. They are struggling, and I would consider them at the bottom of the league right now, one of those teams. I feel like there is like that this year where you got a top heavy and then you got a bottom heavy. There's bad and then there's good. Like there's middle teams, but who really cares about the middle teams? All you want to know is who sucks and who's bad or who's good. And you're seeing like about 6 or 7 really good teams, and then there's really about 6 or 7 really bad teams right now.
See that the middle of the pack, you just don't care about.
Well, see, you don't take them serious.
Well, here's the middle of the pack.
But you know what? I think there's teams in the middle of the pack that could end up winning playoff games.
But you take them serious as a Super Bowl contender.
Here's the thing: like the Browns are a perfect example. 5-2 record. Their 2 losses were against the Steelers and Ravens and got crushed. Their 5 wins have looked great, but they really haven't beaten anyone. So the 2 biggest nemesis on their schedule were the Ravens and Steelers, and they got crushed. But they got 5-2.
That's my point. Is a team like the Bills, a team like the Bears. Yes, those 3 and the Browns. Yes, those. I know, but I'm
keep
just
it
saying.
with the bees.
I'm just saying those 3 teams are 5-2, but yet we still are like
questioning.
We're not
very high on them. We're not all in on them.
Well, who's their
whereas,
quarterbacks?
Whereas you look at the Ravens. I know the quarterbacks. I get it. I understand it. But still, there's a reason why these teams are 5-2. I don't care what their schedule is. They're 5-2 for a reason. But they're not convincing 5-2. Whereas you see like the bad teams, they're bad. There's bad teams in this league. Then there's good teams. The middle of the pack, you're just, yeah, they're good, but they're not convincing. And that's how this NFL season has been. And we'll get to see one of those massive matchups this Sunday. I can't wait. Pittsburgh Steelers against those Baltimore Ravens. One of the last two.
Trevor, let me ask you a question.
Please.
Who's better? The Buffalo Bills, the Cleveland Browns, the Chicago Bears, or the Arizona Cardinals?
That's what I was just going to ask them. All 5-2 teams.
Honestly, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
You know what? It's funny. Ted obviously picked right up on that. You know what? You're exactly right. Look, what I mean to say is, yes, look, there's 5-2 teams where you're like, yeah, them for sure. And there's 5-2 teams where you're like, how the hell are they there? That doesn't make sense. And so look, you're halfway, you're about the halfway mark of the season this week. And it's hard to tell what's going on right now. I think until you get to like week 12, it's going to be hard to tell which of these 5-2 teams will be 8-4 and which of them will be 6-6. You know what I mean?
Let me answer your
question. Hard to say.
I'll make it easily for you. I mean, but we already know that there's bad teams. Those teams, they'll make the play. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 of those teams will make the playoffs because of the new playoff format as well. Don't forget, 7 teams now. I don't take them considerably seriously to get any make a deep run. If to answer the question, make it easier, if I had to trust any of them, I would take the Cardinals because I love Kyler Murray's game and I just love the way he's made it into a whole nother level. He's going into a whole nother level and he's playing at a top level in this game. The other teams, Bills and Browns and the Bears, yeah, they'll all probably make the playoffs maybe, but I'm not taking them serious to answer your question. Where I already know, if I had to be honest, the top 2 teams in the NFL for me would be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the best, probably the most complete team in the NFL. I don't see a lot of teams stopping them. And they're starting to click. The only way that it happens is if they keep Antonio Brown longer than a week and he causes issues. But Bruce Arians has already stated he better get on board because if not, see ya.
Give you one more. The Browns and the Bucs have the same record, 5-2. The Browns have a minus 21 point differential. The Bucs are a plus 80. Yeah, that's 100 point differential in 5-2 teams. It's crazy.
Their 2 big games are against the Steelers and Ravens, and it was like 38-7. One was 38-7, and the other one was 38-3. So there you go. I mean, there's your point differential right there. But the Bucs, good luck in the NFC. The Packers still have question marks. I know they got Rodgers, and then the Seattle Seahawks. Their defense is just, I can't take it serious enough to rely on Russell Wilson to do what he's been doing. And he might have games like he did Sunday night, but they can't rely on him to do everything. Whereas Tampa, they have it all. That defense is nasty. They got a great pass rush secondary, and Brady doesn't have to be great all the time. Even though he's climbing up the boards, touchdowns, yards, he's looking real good, and he could be making a case for, I hate to say it, an MVP.
I'm not trying to extend this any longer, but what's our overall feeling of the Saints right now? Because we haven't brought up the Saints at all. We talk about all these good teams.
There's a reason why we haven't talked about the Saints.
And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because both you and me had the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Ted, there's a reason why we haven't talked about the Saints because I do not take them seriously either. They have I know.
Did you see rumors?
They have a head case at a receiver.
You see that? Can they believe that?
My Ohio State guy, Michael Thomas.
Even though he's an Ohio State, crazy.
Even though he's an Ohio State guy, he's becoming a head case.
They would get a ton for him.
He's becoming a locker room cancer right now, and I can't trust Drew Brees to lead them because I haven't seen it. The Patriots. I haven't seen enough. You never know. No. I haven't seen enough to say that team is going. Hold on. That team is going to take that next step and finally get to a Super Bowl. I just haven't seen it. Alvin Kamara has been lights out, has been amazing this year, but nope. There's a reason why I haven't talked about the Saints.
I know where he would go. Green Bay. They need another weapon. You team him up with Aaron Rodgers.
How about Devontae Adams? Him and Devontae Adams? My God.
But that's what I'm saying. You team him up
with Aaron Jones?
Absolutely. Because
I'll still take the Buccaneers.
Because listen, we criticized Green Bay after the draft of how do you not go get a weapon for your quarterback? I know they're playing well, but if that was even a possibility that the Saints would even trade him, which I don't know why they would, unless he's that.
Dude, he's playing teammates. For what reason? Like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? You just got you paid. You're one of the best offensive players in the game. What the hell are you doing? Well, you're on a Super Bowl caliber team, and you're trying to fight your teammates.
Well, he ain't playing.
Like, you're an idiot. You really are an idiot. Are you going to be this decade's version of Antonio Brown? Really? So talented, but yet such an idiot? I don't get these players, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it. My God, these guys got everything, and they just want to my God. Joe, come on, give us a chance. Let us play. Kyler Murray's giving us hope because he's 5'8", and he's –
all right, move on. Let's go.
What's the matter, Ted? Why don't we talk about the Chiefs as a top? They are. They're the champs. What is there to talk about? Their defense is playing better than last year. They have Patrick Mahomes. They're one of the top 3 teams. What do you want me else to say about them? You want me to just keep bragging like every other sports station does about Patrick Mahomes? Like, what do you want me to say? The Chiefs are dominant. They're nasty. They're gonna be in the top of the AFC race all season. They're gonna be probably in the AFC championship game.
How much do the Chiefs beat the Jets by this week?
Did you see the spreads?
Yeah, it's
19. One team is covered.
One team is covered.
No, it's 21 now. I actually sent you the link.
I
sent you it just this morning. It got updated. It's 21. The other 5 or 6 teams, one of them has covered it. The other have not. I would not. I don't know. That's a game. Can't take that.
It's funny. I've been thinking a lot about the game, and my thought was, right, you're like, oh, Pat Mahomes is my fantasy quarterback. Like, I'm thinking, oh, yeah. But who's to say he's going to still be in the game at halftime?
Right? What are you thinking? We're thinking over under 15-20?
I said 35-10.
So they cover. Should we just give a quick score to this game? I guess I'll go 38. I'll go 38-7.
I'm going to say 37-6.
Joe, were you upset that Odell Beckham tore his ACL?
Yes, I never want to see a player get hurt like that.
It's very shameful that guy, as good as he is, cannot stay healthy. He'll miss 8 games this year. So after this season, he'll have 25 missed games.
Hey, good news. The Chris Godwin's not going to be playing against the Giants, so hooray.
77-0 every record.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge.
You want to know what Jason projection? 77-0. Every record is broken by the Chiefs.
Now I just think he's being a goofball right now. So let's close out with this. We could have a new champion tonight, or we could have the 2 most famous words in all sports, a Game 7. That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Blake Snell played well, actually.
Pitched well.
He played well. He played well. He did his part.
He played well while pitching.
Yes. They should, yeah. But anyways, the Dodgers, after that miraculous Game 4, which was one of the craziest. Yeah, Game 4. You don't remember? Do you not remember, Ted? It was Saturday night and we were watching it. Ted doesn't remember a lot. He's losing his mind.
Don't touch me.
I have to help him sometimes.
Stop.
But what an unbelievable ending to that game. You're thinking the Rays got all the momentum, and instead the Dodgers come back and do what the Dodgers have played. I mean, Clayton Kershaw, job well done in this postseason. He's done great.
Yeah,
I mean he's pitching what we expected him to the past 10 years, and the offense has come up clutch when needed. Justin Turner's a star. I mean, are we going to have the coronation of finally the LA Dodgers come back on top, their first since 1988, or do the Rays survive another day and go to a game 7.
See you tomorrow because I had the Rays in 7 anyway, so I ain't going to change my prediction.
I had the Rays
And
in
here's
6.
the thing. Gonsolin has not pitched well in the postseason. His ERA is over 5 every time he pitches. This is going to be a bullpen game. He's going to try to give him 2 or 3 innings. They'll use May for 2 or 3 innings. They'll bring in Urias for another 2 or 3. They don't like Kelly Jansen, Joe. I'm shocked how the lack of Kelly Jansen usage in this playoffs, especially in the World Series.
Good, man.
I know.
Gives up a lot of home runs, though.
It's amazing
He gives up
because
a lot
we
of
were talking about him maybe as the best closer in the game like a year or 2 ago.
We weren't, but everyone else was.
Along with like Chapman, he was up there as one of the best, and now all of a sudden you're seeing him, and he's been struggling. So I don't know what the hell happened to Kenley Jansen, but he was up there as one of the best.
Rays win tonight 6-3.
All right. I've been saying all week Dodgers in 6 or Dodgers in 7, and so I'm going to.
You can't be changing your mind again.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dodgers win it tonight in 6, like I originally said.
Well, he did say
Did
that.
you pick the Rays that your Rays were going to win another game? Did
No.
you say? Are you
No.
always Dodgers?
Rays? No.
Well, how about this? Funny thing, 9 years ago today, 9 years ago today was quite possibly the greatest baseball game in the history of all in the World Series was that Game 6, David Freese game. I don't know with the way this postseason's been, with the way this World Series has gone, it's been a great World
Rays
Series.
are winning tonight.
I hope this game goes to Game 7 because I just want to see a Game 7. That there's nothing better than a Game 7. So,
can I just? I'm gonna throw out a real quick thought here because I'm old. I remember when you would win your division, you would play the other division winner in the championship series, and then you'd be in the World Series. That was it.
yeah.
You could literally, the season would be over, and within 4 days, you could be in the World Series. That was a thing like 25 years ago. Now, there's like 20 rounds of the playoffs. And I appreciate what Randy
Arozaroni.
Arozarena has done. I do. I do.
It's a routine.
It's not macaroni, dude.
It's macaroni, bro.
I just want to point this out that a postseason record 9 home runs is impressive, but this is like their 18th game or some nonsense. Like,
Well, he had the total hits. He beat Jeter as a rookie, and I'm like, yeah, but he's played in like 4 more games than Jeter.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's
Guys, we can't be jealous Yankee fans right
No,
now.
no,
it's
I'm
not
not.
even-
Slow down.
General records.
Slow down.
No.
General records
No,
because
no,
guys
no.
are like, hold on.
Let's just
You don't
clear
get
this up for a minute. Because I was mad in the 90s when I remember when Bernie Williams, they were like, Bernie Williams now has more postseason home runs than Babe Ruth. And I was like, I love Bernie, but
They have the
what?
wild card.
Right. Because Bernie's played like 35 more postseason games. That's why it happened. I get it. But I'm just saying, look, if you're going to just keep expanding the postseason and you're going to add more teams and more games, that's fine. But can we cut the crap with the records? We got to stop with the records. This is so ridiculous that you could conceivably play as many games this postseason as like Ernie Banks played in his career. Like, come on. What? No way. Stop with the postseason records. Postseason records are not records. If it's not a single game or a single series, it's a cumulative, like, overall. Get out of here with that garbage. I don't care. I really don't. I think that they should, honestly, I think all of your statistics should just continue on into the
What do
postseason,
you think
and
Bob
it should be
Gibson would have
add-on.
had if he played 3 rounds of playoffs? You know what I mean? He would have had 130 strikeouts in the playoffs.
Do you see what? Speaking of that, did you see what Bo Jackson said the other day? I know we're getting to debate football quick, but did you see what Bo Jackson said? If I was playing in today's league, it would average 300, 400 yards a game. I actually believe that too.
No, I don't think so because they would never run the ball that much.
200. When you have a back that good, trust me. When you have an athlete that good, especially today's offenses,
But
man,
here's the thing.
here's
The offensive lines don't block as well, run block well, and it's not taught well in the college game like it was taught in the old days where that was run first. Now it's all about passing and pass. How many good running?
Joe, that's how it is.
teams-
All these new records now, they're all getting broken. All the old records.
Well, look, again, you're basically you've revolutionized like football, and now you're going to give me all these passing statistics, and it's like, yeah, no kidding. Teams are throwing like 60 times a game. Yeah, of course, guys are throwing for 300-400 yards. Why wouldn't they? Just like in the NBA. I'm surprised that the way they're shooting threes in the NBA, that you're not seeing more games where it's like 175 to 162. I mean, I remember a time. Hold up. I remember a time where if a team took 7 3-pointers, it was like, oh, damn, 7 threes. That's what Steph Curry takes in the first 10 minutes of any game. So don't give me that. Oh, wow, this guy's the all-time 3-point leader. Oh, really? Dude, they didn't used to do that. They didn't even have a line in the games like 30 years ago. What are you eating? That wasn't even a thing.
So Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, how many threes would Jerry West have in his career?
Arozarena is,
if there was a 3-point line.
From what I just heard, he's the greatest postseason hitter ever now after his greatest postseason.
Yes, clearly. Make sure, listen, everybody get your Randy Arozarena rookie card, because I'll tell you what, if you want to send your kids to college, you're going to want that card.
Well, that, and you want Joe Biden to be your president.
Anyways.
One more thing.
Stop
Just like Yandy Diaz, I bet you by next year you forget Randy Arozarena was even a person. You'll forget about him. He will be out of your memory like Yandy Diaz and so many other one-hit
just like
wonders.
Gary Sanchez will be out of our memories too, right?
Oh my God.
And Joseph, as always.
Okay.
Well, soon, we're going to be doing a baseball offseason preview, so we're going to be talking about it very soon, because
Robbie Clark's trying to get his rookie card.
no matter what, he's trying to get his rookie. No matter what, we will have, the next time we do a show, we will have a new World Series champion. It's either going to be the Tampa Bay Rays or the LA Dodgers. Whether it happens tonight or tomorrow, we will be back Friday to. Should we start doing a preview show for off-season preview
absolutely.
Of baseball, Yankees, and maybe just in general we could start bringing it up? Okay. And then we'll talk about the big football games. Rivalry week, there's some big ones. Eagles, Dallas, I know it's crappy, but still, it's a big one. Steelers, Ravens, we'll talk all about that this week. And then my Buckeyes play against the Nittany Lions on Halloween. Can't wait. Joseph, as always.
Guys, thanks for having me. I'm just looking on Google for my Arozarena rookie card.
Sorry to end them on a bad note with that Gary Sanchez comment, but I had to just get that in there. All right. Like I said, we got first audio hoodies coming in by this week. For people that purchased them, give us a call. We will let you know ASAP as well. If anybody wants a second order, please message us, call us, or let us know if you want them. So get on it. Here we go. Can't wait to see what happens tonight. We either will have a new champion, like I said, or we'll have a game 7. So we'll see. Time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City as well as YouTube. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.